Mark, I have to ask you this. If you were alone in a room privately with Donald Trump, there were times where you spent time with Trump and your brother, your late brother, Jeffrey. I mean, if you were alone with him right now, I'm just curious, like, what would you say to him?
I don't want to speculate on that.
Tell me.
It wouldn't be pleasant. Let's put it that way.
You wouldn't be nice. I'm sure you would not. Do you think we're ever going to learn the truth about everything? What I mean by everything is what happened to your brother. You think we're going to learn, what Trump's involvement was with your brother and anybody else that hasn't been held to account? Do you think as a whole, general sense, we're ever going to find out the truth, Mark, about everything?
About everything, probably not. I equate this to the Warren Commission report with JFK's assassination. Whatever they heard, whatever they saw, it was a foregone conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and was the sole shooter. Well, now it's 60-something years later, and we now know that's not the case.
Yeah.
So other things have come up. So this is sort of like what's going on. No matter what they want to hear, what they want to say, they're trying to call it a suicide, negating all of the other facts. And there's lots of other things. There was a wrong head count in the prison. This is all documented.
Yep.
Right before Jeffrey's death, there were 73 prisoners on the tip. Right after the death, there were 72. There was like a missing prisoner because nobody was officially transferred off.
Right.
And we have found the name of an inmate that seems to have been transferred there on the 8th of August and then transferred out on the 10th or so after the death.
Wow.
And that name that we found does not appear in any court records.
Wow.
But it doesn't seem to have been a convicted person.
Right. And also, Mark, you've said this on my show before, which I think is very important, and I want to bring this up again. Your brother had a court date and a court hearing coming up. I think it was in a few days to see if he would get out on probation, right, or at least for temporarily.
They were appealing the bail decision,
right?
Which you have the right to do. Like we hear that P. Diddy's tried to appeal his bail decision a number of times. Yeah, so I don't think they had the actual date set yet, but it doesn't take long to get a hearing for the appeal. And Jeffrey was putting up what would have been the highest bail ever in the United States.
Right. And he probably would have had the money to do it, which even makes no sense as to why he would have taken his own life.